Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our YouTube channel and thank you so much for joining today. So guys, today's video, I'm going to be talking about some steps that you can use to apply for a visa to Australia. I realize that a lot of international students still do not understand how the admissions process works. I'm going to be talking about how you can go to apply to a visa, or if you, in case you want to migrate to Australia, know that this is how the procedure is. And also remember that when it comes to some other countries in Europe, America, or like America or Canada, the admissions process is pretty different, okay? But with Australia, you are going to understand why I said it's different. And when I reach this stage, I'm equally going to point out to you the difference between Australia and some other countries. So now, if you like my content, please like this video for me and do not forget to share with at least one person. This is the only way you can encourage me. Please share with somebody and equally like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thank you. The first thing you need to know if you want to apply to a school in Australia, or if you actually want to migrate to Australia, is to go get your international passport. This is a very important thing. I don't want to overemphasize on this. A lot of people, like a lot, are contacting me, and when you ask them this, you talk to somebody for hours, and at the end of the day, you realize that this person doesn't have a passport. I don't understand. International students, the first thing you need to travel abroad, not just Australia, but other countries, is an international passport. This is your travel document. You cannot use your identity card. You are not from Europe. You are not from Australia, okay? So go get your international passport. Second thing you need to know is you have to sit for the English test. English test is very, very important. Now, some people do not actually know. Well, some other universities may not ask you for a test, but other schools in Australia, at least 75% of schools in Australia would definitely ask you for an English test, which is called the IELTS or the TOEFL score. But most of the time, most schools in Australia will ask you for IELTS. For those of you who have taken the IELTS, you would already bear with me that Australia, UK, and America are the three countries that you will get some sections of the IELTS speaking exam, or maybe the IELTS examination. So go get your IELTS. Or if you find a school that you think that once you want to apply to and they are not asking for the IELTS exam, why not? You can then do that. Remember, for those of you asking me, Milton, how do I start? You have to do the research. You have to go online, you Google the schools that you need, then you check the requirements, then you drop your application. But first, you need this information I'm giving you here, so that is why I'm here. So listen to me, then you go start the work. If you need an appointment with me, or if you need guidance on some of the things to note about study abroad, maybe you do not know if Australia is your destination, book an appointment with me from the video description box, or you write me on Facebook, then I'm going to give you the details, then we proceed from there when I call you. I do not have time to type, guys. This is the truth. Thank you so much. If you have a problem, drop it in the comment section. I'm going to respond to you. I promise. It's a promise. So thank you. After you have written your English test, the next thing now is to do is to choose a good agent. Yes, this is something a lot of international students need to listen to. When choosing an agent, I have realized that most people, they call themselves agents, but they do not even know what they are doing. Yesterday, someone booked an appointment with me about his visa for Canada. He told me something an agent did. Let me share with you people. I'm not castigating anybody here. I'm just sharing my knowledge and bringing awareness for international students, because my aim is to see people succeed. How can you be an agent and you are applying for an admissions to an international student for a program that is going to be done online? It's an online program and is going to end last 3 months. That is not fair. That was what they did to someone, and the guy had to withdraw from the project. You understand? So I'm just saying that before you do something, make sure you know what you are doing. And please, before choosing somebody to handle your application, make sure you know the person personally. At least when you see people who know how to do something, you already know. Okay, I'm not an Australian agent. I'm not an agent yet, but when I get an agency, or when I open mine, you guys are going to know. For now, I only do counseling and I guide people on how to go about their stuff. Thank you so much. Then when you locate a good agent, please remember the step now you need to follow is to apply for a program in Australia or in a university. There are a lot of universities in Australia, the University of Sydney, the University of Brisbane, the University of Melbourne. A lot of them, you are the one to choose depending on the tuition fee and the program you want to apply to. Remember, the program you are applying to should be related to what you did previously, okay? Do not do English at bachelor's level and you skip and you go and want to do, maybe you go and you say you want to start nursing because you did English. It is not going to work. It may take time, you may get the admissions, but it is not a good sign, guys. So you have to put this into consideration. Now, remember, you have to check the schools to know all the requirements. Then after that, when you apply, it's going to take some time. The school is going to give you an interview. Remember, I said choose a good agent in my previous point. This is to alert you that for Australia, you have to pass through agents. Most schools in Australia, you are going through agencies, but some of the schools, you must not pass through an agent. That was the reason I said you have to go through an agent. You can do the process yourself if you want. But if you think it's going to be difficult, you consult the services of someone who is aware. I do not recommend people for now, but in case I do in the future, I will. But I would suggest you start the process and search the schools yourself. But if you are finding difficulties, the ball is in your own court. Now, when the school look at your file, they are going to take some time, call you. You would need to have an interview with them, okay? It is a compulsory thing. This is something that was not in effect before, but most schools now are asking for the interview. They want to actually know why you want to move to Australia, why you choose that program, and some of your future ambitions. So when going for the interview, you have to get ready. Now, after that, they are going to give you a conditional offer, and after the conditional offer, you are going to get an unconditional offer, which is a certificate of enrollment. And if you are given this certificate of enrollment, you will now pay your tuition fee and of course your medical insurance. Please remember that most schools in Australia are very expensive, but if you've gotten the admissions, you have to pay at least 50% of your tuition fee. Some schools will ask 75%, others may ask 45%, but I'm not very sure. But I know schools that will ask you 50% and above. Okay, after you pay the tuition fee and you pay for your medical insurance, this is a must. It is non-negotiable. You have to speak with them, all right, in case you have any difficulties, but you must pay your tuition fee before visa application, and you equally need to pay for insurance. Now, after you pay all of this, you are going to get a confirmation, and the next thing to do now is to apply for your visa. Then when you apply for the visa, you go for your biometrics, then you equally do medicals. Remember, if you are using an agent, probably this agent is going to be guiding you through the process, because I believe, remember, agencies means that when you are an agent, or let me just explain to you, agencies, most of the time they work with schools, and after you move to this country, the agents get a small something. I hope you get it. So please, the agent is going to help you in most cases. Well, it depends on how you guys negotiate on the bills or on whatsoever thing you guys are negotiating on, but at the end of the day, the agents will have to help you. Well, everything will be simplified. You must not maybe necessarily end up doing the work with the agent or the agency, but everything will be simplified. So this is how you go about studying in Australia. Remember, Australia is also a country where it is easy to like settle in as an international student, but you must be heavy. You must have some money with you. That's what I mean by heavy. If you are not really like rich, or if you don't have enough money, if you are broke, do not look at Australia, guys. This is not a place to look at it. If you are broke, do not look at Canada, except that you have sponsors that are going to supply you with bank statements and a whole lot of other documents. I hope you understand. So this is the process on let me say the steps to apply. Step 1 is passport. Step 2 is to write your English test. Step 3 is to choose an agent, a reliable agent. I always emphasize on this. Then step 4 is to look at the course. Then you apply for the course. Then the visa interview is a 5th stage, where you have to have an interview with the school. Then after the interview, a conditional offer will come to you. Then after that, a unconditional acceptance letter. Then you pay your fees in the next stage. Then you apply for the visa, go for biometrics, and of course you keep praying. After this is the stage you are going to get your visa. If everything works out well, you are moving to Australia. If not, you have to try again. This is a process and it is in cycles. You have to keep trying, keep moving till you actually get what you want. It may be difficult, but it is not impossible. I hope you understand me. I want to talk about 3 updates, and 2 videos will be dropping. This is the first one, and another one will follow very soon. If you want to travel abroad, I'm telling you now without blinking that stay glued through and always watch videos from this channel, because if you watch and share, it's going to help another person. Okay, first of all, if you like this video, YouTube is going to tell your neighbor that this is a video for you to travel abroad. So please like the video now. Thank you so much. So I have not posted videos. If you check, you've seen that my consistency skipped for 2 days. I lost my device. Right now we are back again. 3 updates you should take note of in Europe. I'm going to be talking about, starting with the very first one, which is the Finland update. Okay, so if you didn't know, I talked about application in Finland some time ago, and I said to study in Finland you need to apply around January. That is usually the general intake, or let me say the general admissions period, which is January. That was the time most admissions, or that's the time universities admissions in Finland, that's the joint application, because you can apply for a group of universities like using the joint application, and you can apply for separate application. Okay, so the joint application was usually like January, but right now as I speak, it is going to be starting September. And this is not for everybody. This is only for those who want to study bachelor's degree programs. Okay, remember I said this is an update, and the next thing I want you to pay attention to when you are applying as a bachelor's degree student to go and study in Finland is that Finland is a country which is somehow affordable. Proof of funds is like 6,720 euros, which is like 4.6 million CFA francs, and probably around 5 point something for Nigerian naira. Guys, if you are in Nigeria, know that anything you are going to be doing now with proof of funds has to be doubled or almost the same amount, or maybe in more. That's more. You are going to be getting more because the bank rate or the banking system is somehow doing something which I cannot explain. But if you have more money, you can migrate abroad. Let nobody deceive you that abroad is like this. No. If you have the means, you have the money, migrate. It's better to suffer abroad than to suffer in Africa. Secondly, understand that when you are applying for this joint application, which is September application for international students, and it's only for bachelor's degree students, seekers, you need to know that if you must apply and successfully gain admissions, you need IELTS, the general, not the general, but the academic version. You need to write IELTS, all right? And before you can be accepted, before your application can be accepted with this info, okay? Before your application can be accepted in case you apply for the joint application. This is something you need to put into consideration. A lot of people don't know this. If you skip the IELTS level, because it is stated that English language is compulsory. Remember, that's the first thing. English is compulsory. Secondly, you can choose up to at least 6 different universities and you apply to them. Okay, that's another update for this joint application. Remember, now it's for bachelor students, which means that maybe January is for masters and PhD students. To try and pick at least 6 different universities. If you meet requirements, you are going to be admitted. Remember that when you get admissions, you have to pay a tuition deposit. Okay, you have to pay a tuition fee deposit, and if your school is charging maybe 7,000 euros per year, you have to pay this 7,000 euros before you apply for the visa. Some will ask you to pay 50% of the amount. Some will ask you to pay maybe 2,500, 1,500, 3,000, depending on the school. So you have to always check the university site. If you have a problem, you ask through an email to them. They are going to respond to you. Now, another thing you should put into consideration is we have talked about the programs you are selecting. We have talked about the visa application. Remember, you can migrate to Finland with your spouse. So if you are applying for this, you should put into consideration that as soon as you get admissions, you can equally apply for visa and move with your spouse. It is important. Remember that not all schools in Finland have the same amount of tuition fee. So definitely you are going to add maybe more tuition fee. And remember, there are a lot of scholarships in Finland. I'm going to be talking about that as well in subsequent videos. Now, there is something you need to note here. When applying to Finland, remember, if you are using your family or maybe your wife, if you want to move with them, you have to legalize your birth certificate at the level of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It is important. These are the updates, and there are other things that are coming up for Finland. The country is really not like they have a lot of issues now they are trying to sort out or balance out. So more updates will drop for Finland. Now, another update I want to give you is Norway. Norway is going to be starting its application notification very soon, and this is going to be for October, that is for next year intake, August intake of next year. So you can apply from this October. Okay, most schools will be opening around November, December, but application begins in October. I think Norwegian University of Life Sciences and Norwegian University of Science and Technology are going to be opening October. Then some other schools will proceed to like November, December, January, and even late January of next year. So when applying, my focus is not even this timeline. My focus is the requirements. You need to consider tuition fee. Not all universities charge the same. Some schools will charge you higher for the same programs, while others will charge you lower from the same program. But in all, always consider tuition fee because it is very, very important. It is part of your application process. They are going to ask you. Now, understand that when applying for schools in Norway, there is an introduction of tuition fee. If you didn't know, Norway has introduced tuition fee payment, which means that if you have an admissions now, you are going to be paying a tuition fee. Okay, this is very important and you need to put this into consideration.